Engages 3 and 4. For these particular tasks you will need a ruler, a pencil and a black pen or a fine liner if you have one available. Task 3, we're going to have a look at the spider rule. So when we're fine lining an object, we have to make it stand out on the page. A simple way of doing this is to pretend that we have a spider or a fly alternatively, or some other creature which can stick to surfaces. If we draw ourselves a little 3D cube for a start, how the spider rule works is, if we have our little spider, the top surface there, if the spider crosses over a line, we can still see the spider, then that line would be fine lined once. So we'd just go over it with the pen once. Just a little note, if you have a look at the side of a ruler, you'll notice the shape of the ruler on one side where the letters is has a slight angled edge. If we put this face down to the table, so we have the chamfered edge down to the table, this just prevents us having any marks on the paper. So put the ruler face down, I'm going to go over that line once, the fine liner, and move it away. So any lines where the spider would cross and it would only be seen on the other side, we would just fine line once. Again, if you crossed surfaces onto the top, we would still see him, therefore all front facing lines on this particular shape would just be single lined. Moving on from there, if the spider moves to a surface where you wouldn't see him, so going around the back of the shape in this regard, then the line is double thicknessed. So the back line there, you would draw a line on, move your ruler slightly to the side, then draw a second line on. Get another third one if you want to. You just need to thicken up the shape. So on all the sides where the spider would disappear, if you went round the edge, you would thicken up the line. What this does is it starts to make the shape appear as if it's standing out more and has a shadow around the outside. It should begin to leap off the page at you. So that is the basics for thick and thin and the spider rule. Obviously at this point we can then move the spider. We should have a box that stands out. Now the next task is to have a go at the small plane. So again, if we apply the spider rule, if the spider is on the top surface and crosses over the front of the wing there, the line will be single thickness. For this particular drawing, all the single thickness lines have already been added. If the spider, however, crossed under the plane's wing, he would disappear, and therefore you need to just go over the line once more to double thickness it again. Just want it to stand out. So if you work around the plane, just apply double thickness to where you would see the spider disappearing. So for the wing, it will be all around the perimeter. Obviously, if the spider crossed from the top of the wing onto the side of the plane, you would still be seen, and therefore that section would remain thin. If the spider, however, went under plane, it would disappear, and therefore we need to double thickness that section. So again, just working around, just apply a little bit of common sense. If you think the spider would disappear, then it would be a double thickness line. If you would still see him, then it would be single thickness. So if you work around the shapes, this should prepare you for the next task in the booklet, which is going to be drawing up a series of vehicles.